Hi everyone, my name is Miss Shannon and I am from the Macedon Public Library, and I am here today to teach you how to make homemade Play-Doh from ingredients in your pantry. So I'm going to be doing two different recipes today. One of them is on the stove and it does use cream of tartar, and then the second recipe is not on the stove and it does not use cream of tartar. So if you do not have that immediately in your pantry, no need to go out for a special trip. You can do it without cream of tartar, and if you would like to make the other one at a different time, feel free to. In my personal opinion, I think the one on the stove turns out better, and I find it's a more smooth consistency, and the dough is less sticky, and I think it's a better quality one, but the other one does work just fine and serves the purposes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to tilt this down so you can see where I am. So we're going to do the one on the stove first. So for this one, you are going to need flour, which I have measured out already here. You need 1 cup of flour, and then you also need 1 cup of water. You need 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm going to be using vegetable oil. And then you need 1/2 cup of salt, just regular table salt, and then 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then optional, if you'd like to make your Play-Doh different colors, you can use food coloring. So I just have some assorted food colorings here. You can make your Play-Doh different colors. You can make your whole batch one color if you'd like, and you can just add it to the batch. Or if you'd like to make different colors, you can wait until the very end and you can separate your dough and then add the food coloring at the end if you would like to. I'm going to make my batch just one color, so I'm going to add mine as we're cooking it. Okay, you need a medium pot to put all your ingredients in. That's all going in one pot. So we're going to add our 1 cup of flour first. And it doesn't particularly matter which ingredients you add first. I tend to do the dry ingredients first just so that I can mix them up. And then we're going to add our 1/2 cup of salt. And then we're going to stir those together. All right, and then I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then give that another stir. And then we're going to put in 1 cup of water. And then 1 tablespoon of our vegetable oil. And we're going to put all of our ingredients in at one time. And then again, I'm going to make my Play-Doh all one color, so I'm going to go ahead and add my food coloring now. But if you would like to make more than one color, you can wait until the end. That is just fine. So I added about 5 drops of my food coloring. You can add more or less depending on how light or dark and vibrant you would like your Play-Doh. Okay, so at this step, we now have to turn the stove on, and we are going to cook the Play-Doh until it becomes a lump and it kind of separates from the wall and it becomes more of a dough-like consistency. So kids, make sure you have a parent with you parent supervision to do this step. So I'm going to turn mine on medium heat, medium low heat. I have a very hot stove, so I tend to do mine a little bit of a lower temperature. But you can always adjust it as we go. So you want to make sure to stir this constantly so that the Play-Doh doesn't burn. You don't want it to sit too awful long without stirring. We're going to stir for a couple of minutes. It takes maybe around 5 minutes for this to become a dough-like consistency. Right, so it's still pretty soupy at the moment, so we're just going to keep stirring until it gets to a more firm consistency. We used to make Play-Doh as kids all the time. My mom used to make it for us a lot, and this recipe is actually one that we had in our recipe holder that we used to make when we were kids. So that's pretty cool. So we used to do this all the time too. Starting to thicken up a little bit more. I can see it starting to thicken up on the bottom a little more, so it won't be long before it is Play-Doh. I'm not sure if you can see through the video, but it is starting to get pretty lumpy. It's starting to get a little hot, so I'm going to turn mine down a little bit. a little bit harder to stir the more it firms up, but try your best to keep it moving so it doesn't start to burn. And then once it starts to turn into a dough consistency, keep it on there for a little bit longer. We want it to make sure that we don't have excess moisture in there. We'll keep it on there for just a little bit longer to firm up a little bit more and still evaporate some of that moisture. Now you can see mine's really dough. Like, I'm just going to keep it on here for just a minute longer. It's one big lump now. It's not sticking much to the sides. So I think our Play-Doh is pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat, and then you can take your pot off the heat, and I'm going to let this cool a little bit. And then once it is cool to the touch, then you'll want to knead the dough until it is nice and smooth. But we're going to take it off the heat and let it cool for a minute. And so while this is cooling, we're going to go ahead over to the counter and we're going to do our other recipe so that you have an option of doing one without cream of tartar. So bear with me while I switch our locations. All right. A little bit. Okay. Two bowls with me, and I'm going to grab my ingredients from over here. Okay, so for this recipe, we need flour. So we are going to be using 2 cups of flour for this recipe. Let me go ahead and put that in one of my bowls, into my smaller bowl. So here's 1 cup. And 2 cups. Then we need 1 cup of salt. I have that actually already measured out over here. Here's my 1 cup of salt. And I'm going to stir this together. And then we need half a cup of water. I find it helpful to put it in the microwave for a few minutes, or a few seconds, sorry, to just warm it up a little bit. You don't want it hot, but just warm. It's not required, but I watched a couple different videos for recipes, and a lot of them had you warm up the water. This particular one that I did, it did not have you warm it up, but I'm going to go ahead and try to warm it up for just a minute. put my water in the microwave for just 15 seconds, and that should warm it up just a little bit. All right, so here's my water, half of a cup, and then 1 tablespoon of oil. Again, I am using vegetable oil. And then I'm going to make all 1 batch color again. If you would like to, you could divide this up into different bowls. So you could put your dough into 2 different bowls and just split the mixture. So if you'd like to do that, that's an option, or you can wait until the end when the dough is formed and you can put in the food coloring then. I'm going to make a blue this time, and I put 4 drops of food coloring in. Again, you can adjust it to the color that you would like it to be. Give that a stir. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients. So you can control how much of the dry ingredients you put in. You don't have to put it all in there. It gives you more control on the consistency of your Play-Doh. So in case it's too wet or you don't want it to be too dry. So you put in 3/4 of it and then start stirring it, and then you can get a better idea of if you need more of your flour and sugar mixture. I am just putting it all in there. So we're just going to go ahead and stir this around until we have a dough. Feel free to get in there with your hands and squish it around. Mine is actually a little bit dry, so I'm going to go and add just a little bit more water. We'll see what happens. So it's kind of an experiment every time of what happens. Give yourself some room. You can dump your Play-Doh on the counter or whatever surface you're working on. And you knead it directly on here. Might make it a little bit easier. Mine's still pretty crumbly at the moment. We'll keep kneading and see what happens. Nice, mine's starting to come together. Just gonna put a touch more water in and see. Helps a little bit. All right, so mine has gotten to a pretty good consistency. Still feels a little bit dry. It's going to be a little bit of an experiment every time you do it. Might not turn out exactly how you want it to the first time, but so the more you play with it, the more it'll be fine and a little bit more pliable. All right. So this is our Play-Doh. So this one is our no cook and no cream of tartar Play-Doh. So you'll find with these ones, they're a little bit more grainy and not quite as soft, but they still work great. So here's our first one. And then I think our one on the stove should be soft and cool down a little bit. So I'm gonna go and grab that. You'll just want to make sure it's cooled down enough to the touch. So if it's still warm, wait a little bit. And here's this one. As you can see, this one's really soft, pliable and smooth. So I definitely recommend this recipe as so this is the fun part. You can just squish it around in your hands and roll it around and it'll get soft and smooth as you do it. All right, so this one is all done. So as you can see, this is our Play-Doh that we have made. This is the consistency of the one that we did on the stove with cream of tartar. I'll show you, I made a batch yesterday. This is the batch that I made yesterday on the stove. So this is what it's like after a day. You can see it's still very pliable and holds its shape great. You want to store these in a plastic bag. So seal it up airtight as you can. Plastic bag or airtight container. And then if you store it in the refrigerator, it'll make it last a little bit longer. But these are made out of ingredients from your pantry. So they are not harmful ingredients. I would not recommend eating it. It does not taste very good at all. Here are these two. This one's just a little bit harder. Maybe use a little bit more water. So these are your two recipes for your homemade Play-Doh. I'm going to hold up the ingredient sheet for reference. So that is the ingredient sheet for the no cook and no cream of tartar. And then if you'd like, the video I found this recipe at, it is on YouTube. If you go to the channel name Hoopla Kids How To, they have a video of how to make no cook Play-Doh. So that's an option as well. And then this is the ingredients list for the Play-Doh on the stove. And that's just a recipe that we had from our family. There's both of those. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed and hope you guys have a lot of fun making these recipes. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Bye.